But with those high winds in the forecast nearly all week, officials say El Paso is facing its worst dust season since, get this, the Dust Bowl blew across the U.S. in the 1930s, of course, raising health and safety concerns.
Our KTSM 9 News reporter Tirza Ortiz spoke with the National Weather Service and researchers about what could be driving these unprecedented storms.
It is part of our natural climate, but what's been so unusual about it this year is that it's been so frequent and that it's been so bad. It's been so intense.
A record-breaking dust season. A study published by UTEP professors in April shows El Paso experienced 28 dusty days with 10 full-fledged dust storms since the start of 2025, an unprecedented amount when the average yearly number is 22. While the Sun City is no stranger to dust, meteorologists say the recent frequency and severity is due to a climate combo.
We have drought conditions that's persisted over the last couple of years. With the little rainfall and the higher amount of winds that we have, it's just stirring up dust sources over northern Chihuahua State and northern Mexico. And then we have localized sources that we have here in most of southern New Mexico and far west Texas.
Professor Thomas Gill, who co-authored the 2025 dust storm study, says the dust and fine particles that got picked up can do more than irritate your sinuses, posing a number of health concerns.
From respiratory conditions, especially asthma and other respiratory conditions, to even cardiovascular and circulatory diseases can be exacerbated or worsened, to diseases that we weren't as aware of years ago, like something called valley fever, which is caused by a fungus that lives in the soil.
So how much longer will the region have to brace for dusty days?
Generally, the winds are going to start tailing off as we get toward the end of May. In June, the winds also become lighter. So as we get into June, the frequency of the storms, we shouldn't have as many, if any at all.
As for next spring, the severity of borderland dust storms will rely on the amount of precipitation brought on by the monsoonal season.
I'm hoping within a month or so we should get an idea if rainy conditions are coming.
We've had a couple of years of really dry ones, so it's possible we may end up getting We may get lucky enough to get into a wet season. If we do a true monsoonal season, then that would definitely help us settle the dust.
And while we can't avoid the dust completely, there are things you can do to minimize the impact, especially with your health. If possible, stay inside and avoid exposure to the outdoors. And if you do need to go outside, consider wearing a mask and even protective eyewear. Try to avoid driving during dust storms as conditions can become extremely dangerous and even deadly. And if you do get caught in a storm, make sure you pull over and wait for visibility to return before you continue driving.